crowd. I could not do this without my friendly comedians, fellow comedians to share the stage. It makes the night so much more adventurous, so thank you. So this is kind of funny. I was supposed to perform last Friday, but I did not want to compete with Taylor Swift. I mean, I knew you'd rather, there's no competition. So what happened was we moved the comedy show to tonight because in case you guys are Swifties, I wanted you to give all the chance to come and be junkies tonight. Right? So thank you for being my junkies. I know Taylor Swift did an amazing concert. I heard 3 hours and 14 minutes. So in the spirit of Taylor, I'm going to do 3 hours and 16 minutes tonight. Right? Because I want to break that record. So just buckle up. And I know that my daughter really wanted to go to Taylor Swift. She's like, this was like her dream. So I am still in the ticket queue. Thank you, Ticketmaster. 147 days later, still waiting for tickets to Taylor Swift. Now, actually, my daughter is going to Atlanta. I'm sending her to the safest city. We couldn't get tickets here. I figured go there, and I'm just going to send her on the mass transit, and she'll just learn her way. It's a good experience for pre-college, right? So, anyways, who likes basketball right now? It's Happy March Madness, right? So my son, who came up to me the other day, he is my height, so he was like talking eye to eye, and he said, Mom, my dream is to be in the NBA. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, we are looking at right each other eye level. I'm like, how about soccer? Right? Like, I'm so sorry, and I don't want to be a dream crusher, but I'm thinking maybe soccer. So he did. Let me tell you something. I'm going to be real honest with you because these kids aren't here. They did not get my athletic abilities. That is something that, unfortunately, I did not pass along to my kids. So they tried sports, we encouraged it, and he did try soccer once upon a time, and the only team that would accept him was the church. And we're Jewish. We don't even go to church. But the church was so friendly, and they said, of course, we take everyone, we accept all. So that's great. He did soccer, and at each at the end of each game, there was a group-led prayer. And I said, listen, you can participate in the prayer, but don't you dare ever lead the prayer, because we don't know how to pray. I mean, we're Jewish. I don't know how you start it. I don't know if it's like, oh, Father, God, Jesus. I don't know. I just don't do it, because you want to be respectful. And what does he do? As everybody's praying every week for family and peace and love and health, my son raises his hand. I would like to lead the group prayer tonight. And what does he pray for? I pray that next week I don't get hit in the weenus with a soccer ball. Okay, we're done with the church soccer team. So going back to my lack of athletic capabilities, I couldn't even get picked to play Red Rover when I was a little girl. In fact, I think I broke my arm playing Red Rover. But I'm the only person I know, you guys, who gets a sports-related injury as a spectator. I'm the idiot that gets hit with the ball and like walks away with like a half-broken nose and some type of injury. Not only can I play sports, nobody wants me to be there to watch them play sports. So it's kind of sad. But it makes me think back to my days where dodgeball, remember dodgeball? What an aggressive game where people throwing balls. That one I definitely was like wiped out. But the deadliest game was tetherball. Do you remember that? That was like getting sucker punched every single time. And it made me think back to my childhood playground equipment, which was like a death trap. Do you remember? 3rd-degree burns on the bottom. Your hair would get stuck in the swings. You'd fall down the seesaw. My dad and my mom, I always have to give them credit. They're here. Crazy kids. So my dad, never anchored the equipment down, so it was like, I was the human tetherball on the swing set, right? You remember that? So it was just a nightmare back then. And if you remember also, I was trying to explain to my kids, the easy bake oven, that burned me. Right? The game operation, that electrocuted me. I swear to God, you get shocked every time. Well, I mean, the Hungry Hippo game, my cousin's right there. She always cheated on that game, which is weird. She'd shove all the marbles in there. Just kidding, I probably cheated. I always blame you. Right? We get our fingers stuck in there. That cash register, remember the Fisher Price cash register? That would get jammed up. But I figured out how to break that thing open with an awesome knife. Sorry you guys didn't know that. That's why your knives went missing. In fact, it was a really funny story. When I was at Walmart and the cash register got jammed up, I was like, oh. And my daughter goes, hey, my mommy breaks into cash registers all the time. Mom, do you have your knife? Dang it, you're gonna get me arrested again. Because last week, when her dad was taking Zycam, you know those little white cotton swabs you stick up your nose, she was telling everybody my daddy puts white stuff up his nose to make himself feel better. I was like, don't go sniffing around that family. So these toys, thank God, they just have one like digital device or two, and they don't have to worry about burning their butt. Slides of today have speed bumps in them and wrapped in bubble wrap and plastic. But going back to, again, even before the soccer days, and I'm in a reminiscing stage because my daughter's about to graduate high school, and I'll get to that in a minute. Yay, one is finally leaving the house. Yay, we get a workout room. I'm not too excited for that. So we started with T-ball, and I remember my son, do you remember when your kids played sports? I know you're in the stage right now, my friends over there. Everyone's like yelling at them what to do, like, pick up the ball, run to the base, go this way. I'm like, if we have to be yelling this much directions, it's too young. It's too young. Like, we should not be doing that. But I was yelling at my kid, stop putting dirt in your hat. Please stop looking at the planes. Look the right way. So, again, sports never worked out, but everybody gets a participation award, right? Everybody gets a ribbon, everyone gets a trophy. You wake up, you get a trophy. You go to school, you get a trophy. I don't know, I mean, you can do the simplest things and you get rewarded. Do you know what I get awards for? I get awards for speeding. That's what I get awards for, right? So let me tell you, I am a life student at driver's school. It's like a lifetime achievement award, right? And I was sitting at driver's school recently next to a husband and a wife, which is weird. So like, is this date night at the driver's school? And like, that's weird because I mean, our date night is like Costco, so I felt so much better that I didn't take my husband to driver's school with me. And they said, no, we were following each other home on Tatum Boulevard. We were following, and we each got snapped. And 2 tickets came in the mail the same day. I was like, yes, I feel so much better about myself. So the worst speeding ticket I recently got, and I have Brad in the house, who's my fellow economic developer, so he's going to relate to this story. We're always like bragging to prospects, trying to convince them to come to our city over the other city. And I was with a prospect from another country, and he said, I think there's like lights behind you. Like, I think we're involved in a slow speed chase. I said, that's not for me. And you know, because actually this was my friend in the audience over here, this is one of your prospects. So maybe earmuffs. And we're driving, and he's like, oh my gosh, I think that's the police. I'm like, that's not for me. And then I realized it was for me, and he goes, are we gonna get arrested? I don't have a driver's license. I said, you're not going to get arrested. I might get arrested, but I will call you Uber. So I said, but here's the deal. I don't want to reach over you because that's super awkward. I just met you like 37 minutes ago. And we were just involved in the slow speed chase together, so I know we're bonding. As we're breaking the law together in the United States, this is your first United States encounter. I said, can you open the glove compartment? I need my registration. That was an explanation. And he opens up and he's like, so I'm a germ freak, so I have a bunch of unmarked hand sanitizer. I have gloves in there, which I use when I gas up my car. And I have duct tape, which he called abduction tape. And he's like, what's this abduction tape doing in your car with these unmarked bottles and this, these gloves? And he's like, what are you planning on doing with me today? I was like, oh yeah, that's my murder kit, but not for you. That's if you don't choose our city. No, I'm just kidding. They gave me a reduced award for that, so thank you to DPS. So the best award for speeding goes to my daughter's friend who was driving and she got pulled over and she just didn't know what to give the police officer and she just said, here's my credit card. Just run whatever you need to run as long as you don't tell my parents, we're fine, we're good. And the police officer said, this is not Dutch Bros. Back to duct tape, because I love duct tape. Let's talk about abduction tape again. Let's just go there. I am all about parent hacks, right? Us mamas out there, we gotta simplify life. So I use duct tape for wardrobe malfunctions. I use it for splinter removals. I use it for sprained ankles, which by the way is permanent when that happens. But I'm all about the hacks and repurposing. So my first child, we took tons of pictures, right? We did lots of baby book milestones and documented all the exciting things that were happening when she was growing up. And my son, we did nothing. My son says, you know what, for show and tell tomorrow, we gotta bring our baby book. Because the class wants us to, share and be able to tell like our important highlights and milestones, opportunity to get to know each other. So I sent him with his sister's baby book. I thought, you can't tell, right, the first 5 years. He comes home from school with what he thought was his baby book and documentation on his life, and he says, why did you enroll me in the Girl Scouts? Everybody wonders why was I in the Girl Scouts? I'm like, well, I needed your help. Because the Girl Scouts required us to sell a lot of cookies, and we did recruit you for that. Which, by the way, that was like the worst time. I remember, who has a Girl Scout? Oh, there's a Girl Scout out back there. You have to sell so many boxes of cookies per the church quota. I was like, let's just sell 20 for the bandana and be done. Oh no, we had to sell like 2,000. So yes, I recruited a lot of kids, but don't tell anyone. And I would pay them. Okay, wait, we're not gonna go there because I don't want the Girl Scouts to be on my tail. But everybody's motivated by points, right? And gifts, and that's why Chuck E. Cheese and Peter Piper Pizza and all these places are successful, because every time I take my kids to one of those places and they want that $25 Nerf gun, which is like 200,000 tokens, which is like $1,000. So I am done with it. And Chuck E. Cheese, I'm glad you're done with those days. Amen. I mean, if it goes out of business, I won't cry. But no, I shouldn't say that because we do like our businesses, sorry, in our community. But I remember Chuck E. Cheese days where they had a very sophisticated security system so it would prevent people from coming in and kidnapping children. Because who would like to do that? Who would like to go into Chuck E. Cheese and kidnap some sugared up, crazy, wild kid? I mean, that sounds like a place you want to take kids from. So Aaron and I, and my husband there, you would get a stamp. Do you remember this? You get a stamp, your kid would get a stamp, you get a stamp, and your stamp would have to match each other's on the exit out. So that way they would verify your kid is going home with you. Because again, I didn't realize that was an issue with kids being like, swapped out or kidnapped. So my husband and I did a handoff where, you drop off the kid and then I leave. I got to go on a very important event, which is like Target or the wine bar at Fry's. But anyways, I had to go to an important event for work. So he would go and pick the kid up, but I forgot about the stamp system. And they did not release my son to my husband. They honestly did not believe that my husband was the father of my son. So anyways, my son is still at Chuck E. Cheese. You need to go pick him up. Anyway, no, I'm cracking myself up. I don't even know where I'm at. Where was I next? Okay. So with all of this said, all these point system, we love crumble cookies. Who likes crumble cookies here? I'm all about their reward system. So every 100 points, which is every $100 you spend, you get $10 back. Well, let me tell you a little secret. When you hit your 10th reward, they ring a bell and the balloons come out and they have a whole like fiesta for you, which basically indicates you just spent $1,000 on cookies. And you're mortified. You're like, please, that is like a secret. Like, I don't need people to know I just spent $1,000 on crumble cookies. And I'm like, everybody's cumulative. I was like telling you, I was over like the last 5 years. So anyways, there you have it. So speaking of cookies and horrible eating habits, which seems to be the trend of tonight, I went to Dairy Queen the other day in surprise because I didn't want to be seen in the Phoenix one. And I realized when I went to the Dairy Queen in surprise, it's next to Jenny Craig. Does anyone know what they're talking about? If Jenny Craig is next to Dairy Queen, I'm like, this is destinational shaming. I love it. Let's put like a donut place like next to Orange Theory. Let's put AA next to Bevmo. I love this trend. This is so great. But so I decided like I wasn't going to go for the medium blizzard. I was going to go for the child one instead. That's what the Jenny Craig did to me. It like modified my order. But I mean, you guys, I'm trying. We're all trying, especially I know as we get older, I'm really struggling with like that healthy eating. But if you take out the carbs and you take out the sugar, you're taking out the happiness. You sure as heck are. And then I know there's like, you can be vegan and vegetarian and flexitarian, whatever the hell that is, and all these things now, right? And I tried that vegan diet, and it lasted 45 minutes. And $400 later, and I felt like I ate a sandcastle. Like sand, like a scrub daddy sponge. Like that's what eating vegan's like to me. But I do respect everybody's diverse eating styles. I will tell you that when I invite people over for dinner, now I have to like make sure you're all the same. You're all either all vegetarian, or all celiac, or you're all, because it is becoming more and more complicated to make dinner when someone's like, I got this allergy, I'm a vegetarian, I'm a vegan, I'm flexitarian, I'm this, I'm like, oh my God, all I'm gonna be able to serve tonight is romaine lettuce. And guess what? Romaine lettuce has just been recalled. So why do we have recalls on vegetables? Why can't we have recalls on Doritos? I do not understand that. So anyway, I have a blast. So the dieting thing is fun. Going out to eat is also stressful, especially with my daughter. She'll be like, hey, can I have one of those eggless omelets? What's an eggless omelet? Like, I don't even know what that is. Or chicken fajita without chicken. I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. So, speaking of my daughter, like I said, she's getting ready to graduate. It's crazy. Yay! 18 years. We've had 18 years to get this girl ready to launch into society, and I'm down to 18 weeks. 18 weeks, and this is a comedy show, so I can't start crying. So we got our graduation email before, and I was crying in the car. But I tell you, I worry about her, and I worry about these kids, because the first question someone recently asked is, what are you going to do after graduation? I'm going to go eat dinner. Oh my God, these kids and the common sense. Like, watching her try to open up an umbrella the other day was hilarious. I was like, there's a button. And a bullet, and she's like, is it digital? I don't think they make umbrellas electronically digital because of the rain and the water. I think that's an issue. Or like a disposable camera. She could not figure that out the other day. She was like, where do you see the picture in it? Like, how do I see the picture? And I'm like, if there is, you look at that little window, and then you like advance it, and then you just like point and shoot, you know? Like, she could not figure that out. And then I had to take that film that isn't processed anymore locally. I think it was shipped to like, I don't know, somewhere in like Europe. It took like 3 months, and it was like $300, and no pictures turned out. So these kids are really, like, they have needed a lot of help. I mean, even my son, he will, they're clueless. I mean, they're smart kids, but dumb. Like, my sister and I always are arguing, like, whose kid's dumber? Like, is your kid dumber than you, or is my kid dumber? Like, I'm out of town a lot for work, and my son will call me, he'll call me and he'll be like, can you pick me up from so-and-so's house? I'm out of town, I'm sorry I can't pick you up. 2 hours later he calls me and he's like, hey mom, when can you pick me up? I'm out of town still. Or I'll go out of town, I'll come back 3 days later and I'll say, hey, I missed you so much, son. He'll be like, where were you? I was out of town. You were? Or it's just, but then, like mac and cheese, here's another great example. You have mac and cheese instructions, what are they, 4 steps in English, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. He can't figure that out. He puts them all together and it's like a big mess. But he could read 27 pages of the Lego instructions in French and figure out how to magically put together a 10,000 piece Lego piece beautifully. So good luck to this generation, right? They're special. One thing I thought about, because I'm starting to reflect a lot, right, now as my kid's getting ready to graduate, one thing I didn't do, and I don't regret, is I never did those play dates, where you take your kids to play dates, and then I never knew what to do if I did that, like, do I hang out with them long, do I leave, do I drop off, and I love talking, obviously I'm talking to all of you guys, it's my favorite thing to do, but in a strange person's house, like what do? I don't want to have any judgment there, like, oh my god, we need to dust our table over there, or I'm a clean freak, like, I just never participated in play dates. I hate that, because I'm like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? I need to help clean your house. So, you know what I do now? I do play dates with my golden retriever. Yes, right? And this is really funny because we were just invited to our first doggy birthday party. Nado? And, which is really ridiculous, but funny. So I'm trying to find a gift for this dog. And do you know that there's genetic testing for dogs? You can find out what dog, breed, or mixture. This is what scares me. Like, I don't want to do the 23andMe test because I'm afraid if I did it, it would come back. I'm like 25% Coca-Cola and 70% lithium battery. I'm afraid if we do the dog breed genetic test on our dog, it's going to come back she's 20% coyote or some crazy animal or chihuahua, I don't know. So I thought I should get this test for the birthday present because this would be fun. And for $16 more, you can get connected to the dog's relatives. Crazy, right? So anyway, I think what people do for their dogs, I think is crazy, but I get it because we love our animals. Don't you love your animals? Like, I'm one of those freaks now that I actually love my dog. You know, they say it unconditionally, like 24/7. I love my husband like 1 hour and 45 minutes a day. And that's a good day. Because sometimes I only love him maybe 15 minutes a day. But my dog, I love 24 hours a day. So I get this craziness. And you know what I really love is that you guys came out tonight to watch us. Thank you so much. I'm Stein.